How do you respond to a classic defense move by the people who want to defend capitalism, that somehow all of this technological advance is the credit for it goes to capitalism, that without capitalism, somehow we would all be working with donkeys and wheelbarrows or something like that? How do you respond? You must get that a lot.
For sure. And I think people in the tech industry especially like to weaponize it. They will say things like, the only way to have technological progress is if you have a certain degree of inequality. And I think they have something to that argument. And what they're saying is that in the kind of world we have now, if you just look at history, well, there has been both technological and innovation and this very capitalist kind of inequality at the same time. So if you just take it purely from a historical perspective, there is something to that. I don't think that's necessarily true in the abstract, and I don't think that it is impossible to design a society where you do have innovation, where you are producing and inventing useful things, without these kind of capitalist structures. And moreover, I think the kind of important point here is that who is actually creating these technologies? Who is writing code? Who is soldering hardware? Who is coming up with these ideas that are being commodified by these capitalist enterprises? It's not the CEOs. It's not the shareholders. It is the workers, and it's workers in a whole variety of different roles, a whole variety of different places. You have people who are in all these different parts of the supply chain who are creating the technologies that are being used by these companies, and most of them are not being paid very much for it. They're not being recognized for it. None of them are going to be on the cover of Time magazine. None of them are going to be shot into space along with Jeff Bezos. And so I think what we have is a very classically capitalist example of a few people on top taking credit for the work done by millions and even billions of other people. And there is a way in which the media and society as a whole ascribes all of these inventions to the people on top, despite all evidence to the contrary. It's not like you have to thank Jeff Bezos for every Amazon package that's delivered to your house. You don't have to thank Elon Musk for every Tesla. I don't think he even knows how to build a car on his own, right? This is not something, the people who we recognize as being these captains of industry, the best case you can say for them is that they were in the right place at the right time. They were able to assemble a lot of people together. They were able to create these teams and create these brands. Sure, that may be something to be applauded, but at the end of the day, all of the work that these companies have produced is produced by teams. It's produced by a lot of people. And I would say that, if we can do it under these circumstances, if we can create the products that are being created in this way, well, what if we could create it in a more egalitarian way? And I know your work has a lot to do with cooperatives and much more democratically governed ways of running a workplace. I think that is very fruitful, and that's definitely something we should be looking into. And especially because there is a strong critique to be made of the kinds of products that come out of capitalist enterprises, because they are inherently undemocratic. They are inherently made for the benefit of a small number of people and in a way that benefits shareholders. And so if we think about, okay, what are the products that we actually want to congratulate capitalism for? What cryptocurrencies, gig delivery apps that result in gig workers being exploited to the bone, with all these software as a service platforms that don't actually deliver much value for society as a whole. I think that there's a strong correlation between the kinds of products that are being produced and the way that the company is run. And that if you had a much more democratic corporate structure, then maybe we would have more useful products. Maybe we would have products that aren't incredibly exploitative or just degrade the natural environment, or are just not useful for the vast majority of people, are instead toys for rich people to play with. And so I think to the argument that capitalism is the only reason we have a technological process, I would say, well, capitalism is the reason we have all of these useless products, and it's why we have all these exploited people. It's why we have all these billionaires. And I think there is a kernel of innovation that capitalism has been able to take advantage of. I don't think that is intrinsic to capitalism. I don't think it's impossible. And if you look at, for example, historical examples of scientific innovation, many of them were produced completely outside the realm of capitalism.
Yeah, it's always struck me, just to add, that the enormous wealth concentrated in the Jeff Bezoses and the Elon Musks and all of that, that's money that is not being used to provide the education, the opportunities for millions of other people whose mental creativity is thereby undercut. They have wonderful ideas of how to improve human society, but they'll never see the light of day because that money is being used to send Jeffrey Bezos off into space because it's an amusement. And then to claim, well, we are the efficient cause of technical change, you are at the very least, a major barrier to the technical change we could have in a society that distributed its wealth more equally.